This presentation is on earthquake safety. The grammar topic is modals, the special helping verbs. What do you know about earthquakes? There was a major earthquake in San Francisco in 1906. There was another big earthquake in 1989. There are many small earthquakes here all the time. Scientists predict there will be a big earthquake here in the next 30 years. Predict means to forecast, guess, or estimate. What would you do if an earthquake hit right now? Hit means happen. When an earthquake hits, you should drop, cover, and hold on. What should you do to prepare for an earthquake? Check heavy things in your house that could fall and hurt someone. Make sure big things, like bookcases, are nailed to the wall. Put heavy items on low shelves, not high shelves. Do not store flammable items, things that can burn, near water heaters, stoves, or furnaces. Buy and keep a supply of important things like water and medicine. Keep your phone battery charged. Make a plan with your family or close friends. Write down all phone numbers, family, friends, doctors, and other important people, and keep them with you. Agree on how you will communicate if there is an emergency. Agree on a place to meet if you can't go home. What are some things that are prohibited or not allowed after earthquakes? You must not go into a damaged building until officers say it is safe. You must not drive on roads and bridges when they are closed. Let's look at the grammar. Let's review the be verb. There was a big earthquake in 1906. Was is a past tense form of the be verb. The past tense is for completed actions in the past. There were big earthquakes in 1906 and 1989. Were is another past tense form of the be verb. There are many small earthquakes all the time. Are is a present tense form of the be verb, and we use it for facts and general truths. Scientists predict there will be a big earthquake here in the next 30 years. Scientists predict there is going to be a big earthquake here in the next 30 years. Both of these sentences mean the same thing. Remember, there is no verb form for the future tense in English. To talk about the future, we use the helping modal will or the phrase is going to. There will be a big earthquake in the future. Will is a modal. A modal is a special helping verb. There are special rules for modals. You always use the base form of the verb with a modal. Do not put an S on the verb for he, she, or it. Also, don't put an S on the modal. You never use to after a modal. That is, you don't use the infinitive form of the verb after a modal. And for negatives, we put not after the modal. The past tense form of the modal is a special form, so you do not put an ed on modals to form the past tense. We've looked at will. What are all the other modals? Can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, must. Shall is more formal than should, and people do not use it very often now, but this is the complete list of modals, the helping verbs. What do they mean? Would can be used for a polite question and conditionals. Would you like to go shopping for a first aid kit? A kit is a collection of supplies. My kids would want to be at home if an earthquake hit. I wouldn't want to be in a tall building if an earthquake hit. So questions 2 and 3 are talking about conditionals. They have the word if. Should is used for advice or counsel. When an earthquake hits, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Should I have emergency supplies at home? We shouldn't panic. We should stay calm. Must not means prohibited or not allowed. You must not go into a damaged building until officers say it's safe. You must not drive on roads and bridges when they're closed. To make a yes-no question, put the modal in front of the subject and then use the main verb, the base form of the main verb. Would you be frightened in an earthquake? Yes, I would, or no, I wouldn't. So you use your modal in the short answer. Would your pet run away in an earthquake? Yes, it would, or no, it wouldn't. Should I move my paints away from the furnace? Yes, you should. Should Peter smoke if he smells gas? No, he shouldn't. To make information questions, put the question word in front of the modal. When should I contact you if there's a big earthquake? As soon as possible. Where should we meet if our street is closed? In the park. Let's practice. Fill in the blank with one of the modals from the box above. You, be barefoot after an earthquake. It's not a good idea. You shouldn't be barefoot after an earthquake. It's not a good idea. If you said must not, remember that's for things that are prohibited. It is not prohibited to be barefoot. It's just not a good idea. You want to cut your foot, would you? You wouldn't want to cut your foot, would you? So this is a conditional. It's a hypothetical. You have a first aid kit. You should have a first aid kit. That's good advice or counsel. You drive on closed roads. You must not drive on closed roads. It is prohibited. If you said you shouldn't, you're giving advice, but the correct answer is must not because it's against the law. What emergency supplies should you have? Here's a list, and you can go to the Red Cross website to see this, but this is a visual checklist of some of the things that you should have for your emergency supplies. Now let's look at the other modals. We use the modals could, might, and may to talk about possibilities, things that might be true. For example, the water in my glass is moving. It could be an earthquake. It might be an earthquake. It may be an earthquake. All of these mean the same thing, they just have a little different feeling. Could be is not as certain as may be. I can also use the word must, the modal must, to talk about a logical conclusion. So sentence 1, 2, and 3 are all talking about possibilities. It could be, it might be, it may be. If I say it must be, I'm very sure. So the feeling goes from being less sure, it could be an earthquake, to being more sure, it must be an earthquake. We also use must to talk about necessities. We also use the phrasal verb have to. We don't have a family emergency plan. We need to make one. We have to make one. We must make one. These all mean the same thing. Again, though, they give a little different feeling of how strong you feel about this need. If I say we need to, that's not as strong a feeling as saying we must make one. Modals are the same for all subjects, I, you, he, she, it, we, and they, but have to is a phrasal verb, so the have or has must agree with the subject. We don't have a first aid kit. We have to buy one. My neighbor doesn't have a first aid kit. He has to buy one. So the have part of the phrasal verb has to agree with the subject. Let's practice. Fill in the blank with one of the modals in the box. There be a big earthquake this year. There might be a big earthquake this year. I'm saying it's possible. Your dog be scared if there was an earthquake? Would your dog be scared if there was an earthquake? I have the word if, so it is a conditional. Would your dog be scared? You keep important phone numbers in your wallet. You should keep important phone numbers in your wallet. It's a good idea. I'm giving you advice. Jerry, fix his bookcase. Jerry has to fix his bookcase. Have to and need to do not agree with the subject Jerry. So in summary, modals are special helping verbs with special rules, and some modals can have more than one meaning. Would can be used to ask polite questions and also for conditionals. Should is used to give advice or counsel. Could, might, and may are all used to talk about possibilities. They just have a little different feeling of how certain you are. Must can be used to draw a conclusion, to say that you're very sure about the possibility. Must is also used to talk about necessities. The phrasal verbs have to and has to also are used to talk about things that you need. Must not is used to talk about things that are prohibited or not allowed. The end. Would you like to ask a question, or should we practice more?